Welcome to our latest project. I'd love to share the highs, the lows and what has been happening, and let me show you what we have achieved. Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcott, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur, and here we are today at one of the projects that we're working on for Believe Property, of which I'm a director as well. I'm joined today by Ben Tribinzi, who's my husband and co-director of Believe Property Limited.
Hello.
Let us show you our project today and let's take a tour of the house. So now you've seen the house, hopefully you can see what a beautiful product we have created. Although I'm not going to say it's come completely easy, there have been a few challenges, delays and setbacks, as with any property project. So anyone in property probably already knows it's not always been an easy ride to get to the end product. So let me just give you an idea of some of the things that we've had to come up against and how we've resolved those issues that we have faced, because that's what we're here to do, resolve the issues and get a great product to the end of the day. So Ben, tell me about some of the things that we've been facing over the course of this project.
Well, we've had structural issues on the property and complying with building regs. We've had to go fully Part E compliant, which is the sound regulations. Yeah, and then the contractor had labour issues as well and delays. So yeah, it's just been nice to round off this project, getting it to the end.
So yeah, it has been a slightly extended, but we've got there in the end with this. And a few of the extra costs that we've had on this project have been to do with building regulations, because we had to comply with some of the sound regulations, which we've not had to do on a couple of our previous projects.
Yeah, that was it. The building controller, he insisted on us complying with Part E, which means increasing the sound insulation between the floors and walls of the house. So yeah, we've did all that, but it was at an extra expense. But yeah, it's done now, so it's all nicely sound insulated and also thermally insulated as well.
Which should help with some of the EPC standards and all that side of things with the thermal insulation, and probably great for the tenants because they'll get a bit more peace and quiet from other people in the property with the sound insulation. The other area we had a few challenges was the extension, because when we started building, as anyone who builds knows, when you go into the ground, you don't know what you're going to find. So what did we find then?
Well, like initially when the builder quoted for it, you just put in for a standard foundation. So it's just a single story extension we did, but to get out of the ground, the ground was in very poor, it was made ground, so it was all like broken up rubble and it had previously been used. So we had to go down, I think, over 2 meters to get to a solid ground. And also within 10 meters of the extension, there's a really big ash tree. And so whenever you're close to a big tree, that'll impede on your foundation. So a little tip is, like, as far as the leaves go with the tree, as far as they reach, the roots go the same. So you can see, like, when it's getting close to your foundation. So yeah, we had that, and then also next door's raft foundation came into ours as well. So with all of these complexities, we had to have mini piles put in. I think there was nearly a dozen mini piles, and then reinforced concrete mesh being put in, and then we could build up from that with the block and beam foundations and get out the ground finally. So.
Which, check out the video on the building the extension, because you'll be able to see the piling actually going into the ground as we were doing it a short while ago. So the next area where we had a few scares was probably the foundations, wasn't it? When we went into the cellar and we had some people come and look in there, and they gave us some not so pleasant news when we went down there.
Yeah, well, the structural engineer had a bit of a field day down there. So, I mean, we always recommend when you buy a property to get a full survey done, but unfortunately we don't know any surveyors with like X-ray eyes. So the seller, when we bought the house, it was fully clad, so it was all covered up basically. So unless you were to rip off all of the cladding, you wouldn't know what the issue we faced, which actually was that the previous owner, to get the head height in the cellar, they had dug out actually beneath the foundation, so you could see the bottom of the bricks and then the foundation under it, and they'd gone a couple of quarters below that, so you could see the earth below the foundation. So the structural engineer was obviously concerned that the house might sort of fall in on itself, so we had to again put in reinforced concrete foundation all around the perimeter of the walls there in both of the cellar rooms. So it was quite a big undertaking to put it right, but now hopefully we're on a solid foundation. So
the house is not going to fall down, which is obviously the first part of building any sort of house, I feel. So that was kind of the next big one that we had to face, and then I suppose the only other concern we had was the time delay, but we know that there's been a few builders that out there have had labour issues with all the different things, with the pandemic, with Brexit, with many things, so it just took a little longer than we wanted it to.
Also, just with those issues that did crop up, like once you've got a programme set up and all of your trades booked in, as soon as it goes out of the programme, out of kilter, then you know it's almost back to square one of rebooking all of your trades in, and then with all trades so busy at the moment, it was hard to get them in as and when we wanted, when things didn't go to the original programme.
So a few slight delays there, but again, we got to the end, we got the project finished, and now it's just the final things to get the tenants in. In this project, we bought a 4-bed house. We've actually created a 7-bedroomed property, 7-bedroom HMO. So I suppose the question there is, how did we actually create that space? What did we add on to the property?
Well, it's a bit of a TARDIS now. So we built a single-storey extension out the back, so that we knocked down the existing conservatory, and then we gained communal space, which is a must in HMOs, and then an extra bedroom out the back. And then it had an existing loft conversion, but it
was kind of a room, wasn't it? But it wasn't really up to building rate. You couldn't have made it into a bedroom at that point.
Yeah, so we took the stairs out and created a dormer as well. So
that's not even the half of what we had to do, Ben. We had to literally take the whole of the floor, the ceiling off the top of the house pretty much, didn't we? We took the whole floor down, even at points took the roof off, didn't we? We were open to the elements, which you'll be able to see on some of the videos from before when we were open to the elements. And then we kind of put it back together, didn't we?
Yeah, that's it. Well, one of the things with the loft conversion is generally the ceiling joists aren't strong enough to support the weight of the floor. So also we needed to get extra head height here, so we've lowered the floor down. But in order to do that, we've put in so many steels. There was a ring steel around the staircase by the side of us here. And at one point, the architect and the contractor were talking about whether or not we could actually do this second floor because of the head height. But we managed to get it all sorted and decent head height in both the first and second floors. So yeah, it's all turned out well to create the extra space. So
the final element was the getting everything up here with some of the bigger furniture we had to get up here. That was a little bit of a challenge, but that I think with any house that you move into, depending on your access routes. So with all the properties we do, as you'll have seen with this video, we do stage everything because we want to get some nice photos to really show what the property can achieve and what it can do, and it just adds that finishing touch, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, we used a contractor to get all the furniture in, and they did it all the furniture in a day, but I did tell them that to get up to the second floor, it's a little bit tight up the stairs. So with that forewarning, they sort of that you can. I didn't know this, but you can actually we've got a king size bed up here, but just behind us. But you can actually get that done in half or in quarters. So either a divan or in quarters. So yeah, and then the bigger wardrobes, they sort of flat pack down to assemble up here. So yeah, there's always
these little things that if you don't realise, you can get to try do something and actually this isn't going to fit.
Well, the bigger one was like the worktop, getting the worktop onto the second floor. I think they actually got that in through the window of the dormer that they'd done. So yeah, there's always a way around, a work around these things. So.
But obviously, until you get started on these projects, you never quite figure out what is going to create the next interesting challenge that you'll find a solution for. Well, hopefully that's given you an idea of some of the challenges we've faced, some of the solutions we've found to get through those challenges to get to this end project. As you can see, with projects of this size, there's always going to be challenges that you do face. But the key thing is you keep believing and you can actually get over the issues and find the right solution for them. Within any project, we've always tended to find something that causes a few intrigues, a few challenges, a few issues, but hopefully it's something you can just figure out, find the right solution and make it happen. And as you can see, we've made this happen and we think it's an absolutely amazing product, and hopefully you will agree with us. Hopefully you found it interesting seeing what we've achieved with this 7-bed HMO. There's been a few trials and a few tribulations along the way, but we've got here. If you have any questions, please do leave a comment. We'll be sharing more about future projects on the channel. Please like the video and do subscribe to the channel. And let's make tax less taxing.